All right, good afternoon, everyone. We're ready. We're back for the afternoon docket, and we will start with the first appearance persons, and then we'll go to the hearing docket. All right, and so Tiffany Arnett,
She posted bond.
she bonded.
That is correct, Judge Bond.
So Yana Otsinovich,
She is here present, Judge, approaching. Come on up, ma'am.
all right, ma'am, you are before the court this afternoon. Charge one is DUI, alcohol or drugs. Number two is DUI with a breath level greater than .15. And number three is a traffic infraction, not for magistrate. I find probable cause.
Judge, unfortunately, in speaking with Ms. Stanovich, right now, she's not in a position to call anyone post her bond. Unfortunately, she does not have her phone with her. And in these modern times, she has no numbers memorized, so she has no one to contact. However, having said that, Judge, my understanding, this is the first time she's ever been arrested. She's been living here in South Florida for over 7 years. She's a working judge. She's working at the Seminole Casino. She's been there for about 7 years. She lives here locally. I'm going to be asking the court if the state can verify she has no priors to consider releasing her straight ROR. If the court's not comfortable in the alternative, we're going to be asking for the court to consider pretrial release for Ms. Stanovich.
One moment, Your Honor.
I like how Mr. Romero says, in these modern times, we don't know numbers.
Well, in these modern times, if one has financial resources, there are numbers for bondsmen in the jail.
Well, aside from that.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, because I think she does have financial resources. I see, while I'm looking, she was driving a 2014 BMW.
I can also tell you while we're waiting that I am not going to grant a straight ROR, not based on these breath readings of 2.273 and .261.
I understand, Judge.
I
Then I would modify my request for pretrial release.
Yeah, I'm fine with pretrial.
All right, so ROR to pretrial. No alcohol or intoxicants. And ma'am, you need to make sure that you go to the pretrial office by tomorrow morning. If you don't go, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand that?
I understand.
Andrea Phillips.
Bonded.
Okay. Tanisha Allen.
Bonded.
Okay. Khadidra Bankston.
Bonded.
Okay. Bonded. Yes. Dylan Lane. All right, Mr. Lane, you are before the court. Charge one is battery causing bodily harm. Number two is disorderly intoxication. And number three is resisting officer without violence. I find probable cause for these charges. Does Mr. Lane have any priors?
One moment, Judge. See there.
Okay, so I can't, I'm just stuck here. Oh, I could? Okay.
See where this is.
I gave him this,
Not showing anything. It does appear he lives outside the Tri-County area.
You know, based on my conversation with Mr. Lane, Your Honor, I think he's going to be coming back to court. And I think that this was just, kind of an unfortunate incident. I'd ask the court to consider a release of Mr. Lane on his own recognizance.
Well, I would put it past just referring to it as unfortunate. I mean, he elbows an employee, a staff member at the hotel in the face. They have to hold him back. Various employees at the hotel have to hold him back because he's acting so violent. He ultimately spits on a police officer.
Yeah, it sounds like he got pretty drunk.
All right, I am going to leave the bond at $1,000.
All right, Judge, then I'd ask you to sign a phone order so Mr. Lane can self-bond.
Sure.
Okay.
Mike-
All right, Dylan, good luck.
That's an order of no return.
And no return to the hotel. Do you understand that, Mr. Lane?
Am I allowed to collect my belongings from the hotel?
Only with law enforcement,
Okay.
okay? Michael Rodis,
Bonded.
his bond is been posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Beautiful, that's what I was gonna ask.
All right. Kristen Nomick,
Mr. Namik is here, approaching Judge.
all right, sir, you are before the court on one charge of possession of cannabis over 20 grams, and number 2 is a traffic infraction not for magistrate. I find probable cause.
Judge, I'm gonna be asking if the court can consider releasing Mr. Namik straight ROR or in the alternative pretrial. My understanding, and I'm sure the state will verify it, this is his first time being arrested. He's been living here 20 of his 21 years. Right now, he is working. He works at a local store. He's been working there for about 2.5 years. He resides in Pompano Beach with his uncle. They just moved into that address approximately 3 months ago. So therefore, on this non-violent offense, I'm asking for straight ROR or in the alternative on pretrial.
He has no priors. I have no objection to outright ROR, Your Honor.
All right. RR, Mr. Nomick.
Thank you, Judge.
Montavious Dixon,
Mr. Dixon is here, present Judge at Maine, and he declined the services of public defender.
Hi.
hi, Mr. Dixon, are you going to hire a private attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and so for this hearing, you are going to represent yourself, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you are before the court this afternoon, one charge of fleeing and eluding law enforcement with siren active. I find probable cause. Does Mr. Dixon have priors?
Yes, Judge. As far as Broward, I see a 2016 trespass, 2012 robbery with firearm or deadly weapon, violation of probation, just under 84 months state prison. Carrying concealed firearm, 2010, burglary, 2010. Goes on from there. Those are the most significant. Your Honor, he was released from state prison July 10th of this year.
Okay. All right, Mr. Dixon, you have a $2,500 bond, sir. All right, Darius German.
Mr. Darius, Jeremy, come on up, please. Please approach the judge.
All right, Mr. German, you're before the court, charges 1 and 2 false ID to law enforcement officer. Number 3, possession of drug paraphernalia. Number 4, resisting officer without violence. Number 5 is a traffic infraction not for magistrate. Number 6, felony violation of probation. 7 and 8, violation of pretrial. And those warrants are no bond holds, and you will see your division judge tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. I find probable cause. And you have a $100 bond on one, and the other no bond holds, you'll see your division judge. Travis Page,
Mr. Page, come on up, please. He's approaching, Judge, you man.
That happens all the time. When people get away, I don't know what to say.
all right, Mr. Page is before the court on one charge of carjacking without a firearm or weapon. It is a first-degree felony. I find probable cause.
Attempted. Just outside of Broward. Your Honor, I'm going to be requesting a $25,000 bond and no victim contact on this offense. Priors 2016, resisting without violence, theft, and criminal mischief. 2016, trespass, resisting without violence, disorderly conduct. DUI 2013.
Judge, and speaking to Mr. Page, there's no way he's gonna be able to afford $25,000. I just informed him as far as what the charge he's here for. He's quite surprised. My understanding, Judge, he's been here his whole entire life. He's 28 years old. At this time, he's unemployed. He's looking for work, but at the same time, he is also going to school. He's been going to Florida Barber Academy for the past 6 months, and my understanding is week he was supposed to do some sort of certification.
Sorry.
And my understanding, Judge, unfortunately, he is homeless. He is financially indigent. However, he does have a mailing address where he can receive future correspondence. So I'm asking you to take that into account to determine reasonable release conditions for Mr. Page.
All right, Mr. Page is quite surprised as to the charge that he's here for. And so these allegations says that, he was identified, the victim identified was, fueling her vehicle when the suspect, identified as Mr. Page, attempted to sell her a 5-hour energy drink. She refused, at which point, Mr. Page entered her vehicle without permission or authority, and then in an attempt to prevent the theft of the vehicle, there was a struggle. During the course of the struggle, she was able to remove her purse from the passenger seat of the vehicle, which contained the keyless ignition fob, and subsequently was able to disable the vehicle. Suspect then removed Miss Waters' cell phone from the center console and fled on foot. And based on these allegations, this happened yesterday. So I'm surprised that Mr. Page is surprised unless he was not there. Okay? All right, so I'll hear from the state.
Your Honor.
Oh, no, I have your information, that's okay. All right, so, Mr. Page, you're going to have a $15,000 bond,
I'll take care of it.
no victim contact. All right,
I have no way to pay anything. I'm by myself on the streets. Like, eating, like, just making money just to eat. Like, I don't have no one. I'm gonna take my exam to get my barber certification tomorrow so I can start cutting hair legally, like in a shop, and start making real money. That's tomorrow.
Sir, you have more serious problems at this time. You are facing a first-degree felony, okay? John Patrick Kelly.
Mr. Kelly, come on up, please.
All right, Mr. Kelly is before the court. Charge one is dealing in stolen property. Number two is false owner info for pawn items. Number three is burglary, unoccupied dwelling unarmed. Number four is grand theft. Number five is dealing in stolen property. Number six, false owner information for pawn items. And number seven, petty theft. I find probable cause for these charges.
Mr. Kelly can be ROR'd on 5, 6, and 7. The first two charges is what the state actually filed
Those have been filed?
based on the warrant.
Okay,
So I guess what happened was when we filed the not in custody, the warrant wasn't taken out of the system,
okay.
so he got arrested on both.
Oh, okay.
See, one moment to look at his history before I can make a recommendation on 3. Do you have him there? Your Honor, on count 3, I'm going to be requesting a $15,000 bond, noting the strength of the evidence, the amount of the value of property that was stolen from the victim's home, and also noting as far as his history in Broward, 2012, he had 2 separate burglary cases. One was a burglary of a conveyance, the other a burglary of a structure with a grand theft. He was sentenced to just under 22 months in Florida State Prison.
Nail gun and, what else?
It's over 10,000,
grinder.
estimated at over $10,000 worth of property from the home. It's a $2,500 TV, 2 sets of Callaway golf clubs, total $5,000, and various other items.
Okay. All right, as to charge number, yes,
Mr. Kelly's not gonna be able to afford $15,000. I haven't had an opportunity to review the PC affidavit, but in speaking to Mr. Kelly, I believe there's probably more to this story than what's written on the PC affidavit. Having said that, he was working at a labor ready where he was making $43 a day, but he's not working there anymore. He's financially indigent, he's homeless. He does have a mailing address. He's been here for 10 years. He's looking forward to fighting these allegations, but he cannot afford a $15,000 bond, Judge.
And, Your Honor, I'm going to assume Mr. Romero doesn't realize the allegations also include that a Big Gulp cup was found in the victim's bedroom that had the defendant's DNA on it.
oh, and there's more that's going on here.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to, as far as on that burglary dwelling,
The items that he took to the pawn shop that they caught him on surveillance, the allegations are that when they went back to the pawn shop, the owner was not able to find the receipt from the, with the thumbprint. Then when they looked at the surveillance, it was observed that he also took the original so that they wouldn't be able to find it. So, He has I'm gonna impose a $7,500 bond on charge number 3, and he has a $3,500 bond on 1, $1,000 bond on 2, and then, ROR on the 5, 6, and 7. Kenneth Barnhart.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Barnhart is before the court. Charge 1 is burglary with assault or battery. Number 2 is trespassing, occupied structure or conveyance. 3 and 4, tampering in first-degree felony proceeding. And I find probable cause for these charges.
Your Honor, the state is going to be seeking a no bond hold on count 1, 3, and 4 upon a finding of proof evident or presumption great for first appearance purposes only. Your Honor, I would note the evidence in the probable cause affidavit, the sworn statement from the victim. A neighbor made a call to 911. One moment. I'm sorry, Judge, just need one moment. Yes, an anonymous neighbor contacted 911 upon hearing the victim screaming for help. The physical evidence corroborates her version of events. The arresting officer observed scratches to the back of both of the victim's arms, fresh bruising to her knuckles. He observed the enclosed patio screen was cut. Blinds had been moved from the screen area. Fresh damage to the sliding glass door of the kitchen, which was consistent with a pry tool being used. Additionally, Your Honor, where's that? One moment. The officer, upon arriving at the scene, observed Mr. Barnhart exiting from the residence, and upon seeing the officer, he then turned around and re-entered the residence, fleeing out from the residence from a rear sliding door. Should the court find proof evident or presumption great, I would ask that the court not exercise discretion in setting a bond. This is based not only on the facts in this probable cause affidavit, but Mr. Barnhart's criminal history, which includes that of Broward, 2011, burglary of a dwelling and theft. He violated probation, was sentenced to 6 years state prison. He was released May 1st, 2018. Grand theft, 08, VOP, 6 years state prison. Grand theft auto, 96, 5 years state prison as a habitual offender. 1996, 2 counts of strong arm robbery, 8 years state prison as a habitual offender. He has priors that predate for grand theft, burglary dwelling. Actually, 4 more burglaries of dwellings. Nothing further.
Well, we would object, Judge, to the court making a finding of proof evident presumption great. The state has introduced a probable cause affidavit, but nothing to support the allegations other than that. Based on the fact that the state has done very little to achieve the highest burden we have in the criminal justice system, which is proof evident presumption great, we would ask the court to make a finding that that standard has not been made and has not been reached by the state. In addition to that, Judge, we would, if over our objection this court does find proof evident presumption great, we would ask you to exercise your discretion and set bond for Mr. Barnhart.
All right, well, based on the allegations, the level of force that is described in this probable cause affidavit, I am going to make that preliminary finding of proof evident presumption great. And this is without prejudice for Mr. Barnhart to have a bond hearing before his division judge.
I'd be asking for a photo order as well,
I'll
Judge.
sign that order, and so he'll be held no bond on charges 1, 3, and 4 until further order of the court.
And I'll call your mom for you.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, did the court order no contact?
Mr. Barnhart, I don't know. Mr. Barnhart, all right, no, what was that? No, that's okay. No victim contact, so that means no phone calls, no text messages, no social media, no third-party contact. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right.
Whichever you want to start with, Judge.
I know. Let's start with the misdemeanor docket, and George Smith.
Conti, Your Honor.
Oh, Conti. All right, Mr. Smith, this is a municipal ordinance violation. Is there something else holding you in custody, sir?
No, ma'am.
All right. Is there a reason why you didn't resolve your case at first appearance
No,
5
ma'am.
days ago?
No, ma'am.
All right. All right. So do you wish to resolve your case today?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have something to add?
No, I was just gonna say, it was over the weekend with Judge Schiff, there might not have been anyone
Over
here
the
from
weekend.
either side.
I see. All right, so, Mr. Smith, if you wish to resolve your case, I'll sentence you to time served. You've done 5 days already. Do you wish to accept that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, please raise your right hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put your hand down. And is there anything, is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Do you need any more time to speak with an attorney?
No, ma'am.
You understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you are giving up that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
No, ma'am.
And,
No.
and do you understand, sir, that if you are not a U.S. citizen, that by taking a plea today, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes, ma'am.
What plea do you wish to enter at this time, guilty or no contest?
I don't know.
Guilty, you're saying you're admitting that you did it, no contest, you're not admitting or denying guilt, but you're saying it's in your best interest to resolve the case at this time.
To resolve the case at this time.
So which one, you've got to tell me which one it is.
No
Guilt,
contest.
no, okay. All right, I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Your sentence serves adjudication and time served, and no return to that location. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Raquel Charleswell,
North Broward.
all right, my notes said that this was transferred to mental health.
Yeah, and
Is that true?
Your Honor, well,
Did I sign an order?
you did, you ordered it at first appearance.
Okay,
I checked Odyssey, she hasn't gone in front of Judge, I don't know why she was never set in front of Judge Lerner Wren.
oh,
As soon as I saw that, I texted Judge Lerner Wren's JA.
can they get her on tomorrow?
Can tomorrow, Thursday. Because she doesn't, I don't believe Judge Lerner Wren has an MI docket on Wednesdays.
All right.
And I, by the way, I did let her know.
Do we see that there is did I sign a transfer order? I know it's written on this.
Yeah, I don't see the
determination.
yeah, I didn't see if that was uploaded into Odyssey, just what you wrote on the findings.
Okay. Ms. Charles Well, yes.
Yes.
Where, she's not at Conti, where is she?
North, I believe.
Right. Ms. Charleswell needs to be before Judge Lerner Wren. So, what was that? Is there an transfer order in the system? If there's I'll sign another one if we'll make it go. She needs to go to
Well,
Judge Lerner.
If that's what you want, I can just text her Jay right now and she'll set her for Thursday.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
Well, I'm just saying, this is,
No, I'll do it, and I'll also, I'll do both, just so that we don't have any more delays. All right, so Ms. Charleswell, you'll see Judge Lerner Wren shortly, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Thank you.
all right. Stephen Morris,
Mr. Morris is here, Judge, and answer the question. Come on up, Mr. Morris.
this is Mr. Morris.
you were calling us, Your Honor, we had a gentleman on the docket that didn't bring Mr. Tapia.
Yes,
And I advised to you that, the offer that Judge Davis made, and frankly, you felt it'd be best that he see as the
Right.
division judge. Mr. Morris is his co-arrestee.
okay,
I printed out the PC, frankly, Your Honor, because I think it's something that Your Honor needs to read to see the total picture of what's going on here. I mean, as I remember when he appeared before his assigned judge, on both of them, I've never seen people go to the extent that they're going to try to help Mr. Morris and Mr. Tapia, and they're just refusing all efforts. I mean, you'll see City Commissioner Sorensen actually went to the scene to implore both gentlemen to accept assistance. And I've never heard of that.
yeah,
And Judge, as you can see, Mr. Morris is, he has health issues, he's homeless. The $25 is gonna be something impossible for him. I did advise him, he did first ask if we could resolve this case, I did advise him there's a criminal mischief. I didn't have an opportunity to read the PC, because the PC was not in Odyssey when I looked earlier today. So he doesn't know as far as what type of damage they're referring to. So I told him there's not gonna be possible to resolve it today because of restitution issues, but he's not in a position to post a $25 bond. So he's asking if the court will consider releasing him on pretrial release.
And I guess the issue is, and I don't know if Mr. Morris relayed this to Mr. Romero, everyone understands that he's homeless and has other issues. Everyone's tried to help him. He refuses. Judge Barner can't take him back to community court. They tried to help him. A city commissioner came to the scene and implored both gentlemen to accept assistance. These homeless assistants, the officers that are working homeless assistance, have made countless efforts to try to provide both gentlemen with assistance. Mr. Morris refuses help at every turn.
right. I have to leave the bond in place. It's pretty bad. And, at some point in time, Mr. Morris needs to accept the help that's being offered so that he doesn't keep coming before the court like this. But, I won't take a plea today. And, I'm leaving the bond in place.
Hector, is Mr. Morris signed up with the Public Defender's Office? Okay.
Right? All right. Semi Mitchell,
Mr. Mitchell is here at main judge approaching.
So who's this? Is this Mr. Mitchell?
yes.
Your Honor, I'm showing that he had a felony VOP, that he was released at pretrial, the GPS monitor.
Okay,
In light of that, I don't have an objection to an ROR in this case.
all right.
Mr. Lender read my mind.
That's
All
a
right.
scary thing.
So ROR on this charge, okay? Michael Garnett,
He's at North Broward.
You resolved his case this morning, Judge.
oh, he did, all right.
Yes.
Sarah Sylvester,
Also North Broward.
All right, so Ms. Sylvester was arrested October 25, so this is a second look at her bond,
Yeah, her bond was reduced to $500 over the weekend.
okay?
Just. Judge. Yes, the reason that, yeah, I was actually here while this case was heard on Saturday.
You were?
I won't get into why.
Okay.
Your Honor, Judge Schiff reduced the bond, but insisted that a bond stay in place because Ms. Sylvester does not have ties to the community.
Okay,
The probable cause affidavit shows that her place of residence is, I believe it's, or that she's from out of state, Your Honor, I believe. Maybe Ms. Sylvester can correct me, but this happened at a rehab center.
That's correct.
Yeah, this happened at a rehab center.
That's correct.
So her ability necessarily to go back to this rehab center, there's issues
Without a
with that.
doubt.
There was an order of,
Hold on, Ms. Sylvester.
there was an order of no victim contact, so
okay,
No, she's
that's
not-
what was Judge Schiff's reasoning.
okay.
Right, but based on my conversation with Ms. Sylvester, Judge, she's not going to be able to make a monetary bond. As the state points out, she was living in a rehab facility. She is from North Carolina, but she has no ability to post a monetary bond whatsoever. I'm going to ask the court for a pretrial release with no victim contact.
Well, where is she going to be if she's not going back to the rehab?
Different room.
Which one?
I have the ability, I have insurance, like I call my cousin, she lives in Jacksonville, Florida, and I can call her and have her sent to one that accepts my insurance. I have United Healthcare through my fatherland, so which you
How
said.
how long were you supposed to be at this rehab?
I only have like 6 more days insured by my insurance, or excuse me, accepted.
How
So I can
long,
just go to a
how long
different
were you
place.
there before?
About 18 days.
All right, I'm gonna leave the bond at a $500. Okay?
All right, I'll give your mom a call.
Thank you.
Francisco Tremino Cardenas.
Conti, Your Honor, will need a Spanish interpreter.
All right. All right.
We have one on the way.
We'll recall when the interpreter is here. All right, on the felony docket, Frank Hacia.
Come on up, sir.
All right, this says Mr. Hacia was arrested September 26th, so is this a 30-day motion?
Yes, Your Honor, and information was filed. It was filed as a misdemeanor battery and an assault. That being said, I'm just asking that the only action the court take at this time is to deny the motion.
So the information has been filed as a felony? There's a felony or?
No, it was filed, the battery was filed as a misdemeanor battery, and the assault was filed as presented.
Was the bonds adjusted already in the
I
system?
don't know if it has yet, Your Honor. There
All right, so
there
Mr.
are extenuating circumstances, Your Honor,
Mr.
that's why I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
Your
no,
Honor.
go ahead.
That, just to give the court an idea, and I can print out the PC, you'd set the assault at $2,500 already.
Okay.
and
All right,
I
so
would just-
Mr. Hacia, the information has been filed, so you will be going before your division judge for arraignment shortly. Okay? All right, the Spanish interpreter is here, so we can address Mr. Francisco Tremino Cardenas.
Conti.
How are you? Do you swear or affirm to translate from Spanish to English, English to Spanish?
I do. Maria Salazar.
All right, so Mr. Tremino Cardenas,
Señor Fermín Cárdenas,
Was arrested October 26,
Usted fue arrestado octubre 26
and he's before the court today for a second look at his bond status.
y usted está acá ante la corte para darle, para mirar por segunda vez la situación de su fianza.
How much bond does Mr. Cardenas have?
Están preguntando cuánta fianza tiene usted.
Judge,
Tengo 100 pesos de fianza, pero es que yo no
No,
tengo cómo
usted.
pagarla porque yo no tengo familia aquí. Yo
I
estoy solo.
have $100 to put towards my bond, but I don't have any more money because I am by myself living in this country. I don't have any family.
I believe that Judge Schiff set the bond on the DWS at $1,000.
Le fijaron la fianza en $1,000 por el cargo de manejar sin licencia.
Upon
Sí, con
review,
la licencia suspendida.
Oh, it was a suspended license.
upon reviewing the probable cause affidavit,
Después de revisar el affidavit de causa probable,
I suspect that Judge Schiff raised the bond
yo opino de que la jueza Chief le subió la fianza
because it mentions that Mr. Tremino Cardenas has 2 active warrants
porque se menciona de que usted tiene 2 órdenes de arresto pendientes
for DWS and theft.
por manejar con licencia suspendida y
DWS and theft.
de-
Theft.
Theft. Theft.
Stealing something,
oh,
theft.
perdón, y hurto. Es
Pero por manejar
And-
la licencia.
suspendida y por hurto.
Sí, pero ya a mí yo cumplí por eso tiempo cumplido por la licencia la primera vez.
Well, the first time I drove with I was had the charge of driving with a license suspended. I complied with the sentence.
His driving record also shows that
Su récord de manejo también muestra
most recent suspension as of October 14th
que su más reciente suspensión de licencia ha sido desde octubre 14,
is for failing to appear in court.
y eso también es por no comparecer ante la corte.
And I just looked up the warrant out of date for failing to appear on the DWLS.
También estoy viendo la orden de arresto por no venir a la corte por manejar con licencia suspendida.
Has a $7,500 bond.
Es una fianza de $7,500.
And so the court's aware of the alleged theft in this case.
Entonces, para que la jueza sepa de que el supuesto theft, hurto en este caso,
Involves a stolen tag that he put on his car.
involucra a una placa hurtada que puso usted en su carro, una placa robada.
No, la placa no es robada, la placa es de un amigo mío que tiene un carro igual que el mío y lo tiene roto.
Well, actually, they steal that license plate or tag. It belongs to a friend of mine that owns a car similar to mine, and the car is he cannot drive the car now. It's not in a
All right,
driving
Mr.
condition.
Cardenas,
Señor Cárdenas,
you have lots of issues going on at this time.
usted tiene varios asuntos pendientes en este momento.
You have 2 other charges other than what's before me today.
Tiene usted además otros 2 cargos aparte de los que yo tengo acá conmigo.
And you have a case pending in Dade County.
Y usted también tiene otro cargo en el condado de Miami-Dade que también está pendiente.
So my suggestion to you at this time would be for you to make sure you speak with your attorneys
Mi sugerencia que le quiero decir a usted es que usted hable con sus abogados
so you can better understand what needs to be done.
para que usted tenga un mejor entendimiento de lo que usted necesita hacer en estos casos.
At this time, I am going to leave the bond in place
En este
on this
momento.
case.
En este momento y para este caso voy a dejarle la fianza tal cual como está.
Okay?
¿La fianza de cuánto es?
How much is that bond?
$1,000?
$1,000.
De $1,000. Pero usted a pagar $100.
So I will have to pay 100.
Yes.
Sí, correcto.
Correcto, gracias.
Thank you.
All right, do we have anyone else who needs a Spanish interpreter?
¿Alguien más que necesita el intérprete?
All right, thank you. All right, back to Eric Lodenqual.
North Broward, Judge?
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, sir. So Mr. Lodenqual was arrested October 12th. So this is a second look at his bond status. Looks like he has a $1,000 bond.
That is true, Your Honor. From what I can tell, he let's see, he's got a very lengthy arrest history. He was arrested April 19th of this year for violating pretrial. He was out on a possession of methamphetamine, picked up a drug-related municipal ordinance. Judge Coleman held him no bond. He was sentenced to 30 days in county jail on May 7th of this year. He resolved another drug paraphernalia on state charges last year, possession of cocaine 2016, 180 days county jail after a VOP, theft 2016, possession of cocaine 2013, possession of cocaine 2013, resisting with violence 2013 with the VOP, trespass 2013, 2012, possession of cocaine 2011, another possession of cocaine 2011, two more possessions of cocaine 2011, one with the VOP, trespass 2011.
All right, Mr. Lodenqual, your bond will remain at $1,000 at this time. Okay? Yes, sir.
This week, you pretrial earlier this year. Observer, can you pretrial this year again?
No, sir. All right, you've got to post your bond.
I'll call your mom.
Thank you.
Glenroy Howat.
Yes. No, let's look at the arrest before this. No, not that. Yeah, what do you got?
All right, Mr. Howat was arrested October 24th, so again, this is the second look at his bond status.
Correct, Judge. He has a $1,000 bond on a drug offense. My understanding, more importantly, Judge, this is his first time being arrested on a drug offense. He has prior contact with the criminal justice system. He's 21 years old. Right now, he receives certain benefits through DCF. One of those benefits allows him to go to school. He's going to try to attend Atlantic Tech and study criminal justice. Right now, unfortunately, he is homeless. However, he does say that he has a mailing address through DCF. So he's asking the court, considering this is a third-degree felony, non-violent, he's asking the court to consider releasing him on pretrial release. And we wouldn't object if the court also wanted to impose random drug testing for Mr. Haggard.
All right, so when was he gonna start going to school? He's homeless, he's gonna start going to school?
I'm already in school. I'm already attending ATC already. I'm participating in school already.
I
at this
want to hear
moment.
these.
So
I'm
that's
already
some,
signed up for school.
so that's something different. ATC is something different.
As Atlantic Tech College in Coconut Creek.
I know what it is, that's something different from what Mr. Romero said.
And I apologize, Your Honor. Hector, you said he's going to be studying criminal justice?
Right, that's what I
I
heard.
study
Okay.
criminal justice and culinary.
Your Honor,
My understanding, Judge, and I'm sure that this state's can bring this up, he does have prior contact with the criminal justice system, very recent. However, like I said, this is his first time, I believe, on a drug offense.
yeah, unfortunately, everything else is a lot worse than the possession of drugs.
What are the priors?
He was arrested here October 24th. He just got out of jail October 21st after serving a jail sentence for burglary of a conveyance. He had a theft that he pled out July 31st of this year. 2016, he was convicted of attempted robbery with a firearm or deadly weapon. He violated probation and ended up being sentenced to 364 days in county jail. Yeah, he was out 3 days.
Judge, and I believe the serious charge what Mr. Leonard talked about is when he was 17 years old.
Well, one might say that the charge he just got out 3 days prior to this arrest is serious, too.
All right, I am going to leave the bond at $1,000, okay? Jeremy Mack,
Mr. Mack, come on up, please.
all right, Mr. Mack has a $750 bond on a petty theft charge.
This is,
Judge,
This is a second look at his bond status.
yes.
my understanding, Judge, he's living with his father in Pompano Beach. He can reside there. Unfortunately, no one can pay his monetary bond of $750. Judge, my understanding, this one I believe I did review the PC affidavit. I believe it was clothes taken from Target. He's asking to be released on pretrial release on this offense, Judge.
Your Honor, Mr. Mack was released from Florida State Prison April 2nd of this year after being sentenced to 16 months in Florida State Prison on a 2017 felony theft after violating probation. Other priors include 2013 strong-arm robbery. He was sentenced to 35 months in state prison. He was also qualified as a habitual violent offender. 2013 strong-arm robbery, VOP, 35 months state prison. Felony battery due to priors, 2012. Violation of a domestic violence injunction, 2011. Battery, 2010. Battery, 2010.
All right. All right, Mr. Mack has a $750 bond. Going to leave that in place at this time. Samuel Moreland. He bonded? Yes?
Check.
Yes? Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
William Puckett.
One moment, Judge.
Okay.
He's coming. I believe he's in back. And Judge is going to be approaching. He's going to be representing himself pro se.
Okay.
Come on up, Mr. Puckett.
All right, Mr. Puckett, you were arrested October 24th, and you have a total of $1,750 in bond. You are brought back today for a second look at your bond status, and I understand that you are going to represent yourself at this hearing. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, what else do you wish to tell me, or what is it your request today?
On my first
Without telling me about the facts of your case.
I'm not, ma'am.
Okay.
Had nothing to do with the facts of the case.
Okay.
On my first appearance, the state's attorney said that I had a failure to appear. But that is essentially true, but not true.
Oh.
The reason I say it's not true is because I had a court date of August 22nd.
Okay.
I appeared on August 23rd
Okay.
as an honest mistake. I thought I was supposed to be there on the 23rd.
Okay.
And I went down to the courthouse, turned myself into the judge and explained to him that, he says, well, you were supposed to be here yesterday. I said, Your Honor, I can't see very well, and I thought today was the day I was supposed to appear.
What judge was that?
Judge Coleman.
Well, I don't understand, Your Honor, because first of all, his capias was issued in July.
I don't know, ma'am. If you look somewhere, they must have wrote it down.
Your Honor, I can tell you, I'm looking at Odyssey. He was scheduled for arraignment July 16th. He did not appear at his arraignment. Judge Coleman issued a no bond capias. But what I also advised Judge Davis, and I believe why he ultimately kept the bond in place, was Judge Coleman granted a defense motion for ROR. After he was being held, he put him on pretrial. The issue is that Judge Coleman also had to issue a warrant for violating pretrial on July 29th. He put him on a GPS monitor on three separate times between July 27th and July 29th. He left the pre-approved residence, and pretrial did not know what his activities were at those times.
All right, Mr. Puckett, you have lots of other things going on here. I am not going to make any changes to the bond status at this time, okay?
Mrs. Powell,
Yes, sir.
there's no notation that I showed up a day late for court.
Well, yes, there is, based on what the information that I'm getting. So let's have that discussion with Judge Coleman or whoever your judge is at this time, okay?
Well, what I was trying to say is, I'm not trying to avoid prosecution. I just showed up a day late.
All right, Mr. Puckett, we're done at this time, okay? Mark Alberti. Huh? Yes.
He's here, present judge.
All right, it says here that Mr. Alberti has a $500 bond that was reduced from $1,000.
I see that, Judge, and unfortunately, Mr. Alberti advises me no one was able to post that $500 bond. Now, he's been here his whole entire life, he's 56. At this time, he did advise me he's looking into applying for disability. Unfortunately, he's homeless. However, he did advise me that he has a mailing address, which would be in Palm Beach. So, Judge, at this time, we are asking the court to consider releasing him under supervision of pretrial with random drug testing.
Your Honor, I can't be certain, but I suspect Judge Schiff reduced the bond but was unwilling to ROR, even a pretrial, based on his history. Mr. Alberti was released from Florida State Prison August 1st of 2018. 2014, he had a strong-arm robbery, possession of cocaine, sentenced to 53.5 months state prison as a habitual offender. 2013, grand theft, 53.5 months state prison, habitual offender. 2013, burglary of a conveyance and theft, same sentence. Felony theft, 2013, same sentence. 09, burglary, conveyance, and theft, 44 months state prison.
And Judge, since I believe, if I heard correctly, he was released from prison last year in August, so he's been clean from August, so this year, October, so over a year.
All right, he has a $500 bond that's going to remain in place, okay? Bradley Friedberg.
Mr. Freeberg, come on up, please. He's here, Judge, he's approaching. Hello, Your Honor.
Hi, Mr. Friedberg. What's going on with Mr. Friedberg? He has $2,000 in bond, uttering false bill, fleeing and eluding law enforcement.
Judge, he does have priors, and I'm sure the state's gonna mention, but from what Mr. Freeberg advised me, he's been 10 years clean. Having said that, Judge, he is working. He works at a place called Kahuna Bar and Grill where he's a cook. He's been there for about 3 months. He's been here his whole entire life. He lives in Deerfield with his girlfriend. Now, she works at a local restaurant called JB's Restaurant. And unfortunately, well, she just he informed me that his girlfriend just paid all the bills. So they have no financial resources to pay the monetary bond. So he's asking to be released on pretrial release.
It was over the weekend. Your Honor, I've checked with pretrial. The only prior I see is a 2009 burglary conveyance out of Broward.
Okay. It wasn't clear. I am looking at the probable cause, reviewing the probable cause affidavit. Do they know each other, him and the victim?
Honestly, I don't even, the PC hasn't even been scanned into my system. I was trying to
He's
look
saying
it up.
that Friedberg says that the checks were given to him by the victim, and then when the officer spoke to the victim, he said that he did not give the check to Friedberg. He did not give him permission to sign the checks or to try and get, well, he only has one, what do you say, a prior from 2009?
Yeah, as far as the other matter, I guess that's gonna be a issue of dispute.
All right, then I'll ROR him to pretrial supervision, okay? And Mr. Friedberg, you need to report to the pretrial office. If you don't show up, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Melissa Dollinger.
North Broward.
All right, Ms. Dollinger was arrested October 26. She has $2,100 in bonds.
The only question I had, Your Honor, upon reading the PC affidavit, is if Miss Dollinger is from out of state, or does she have ties to the community? Because on the booking, it says 0 months of residence, and then on the PC affidavit, it says 6 months residence in Broward County. And the allegations are a bit concerning, not so much for what happened to Ms. Dollinger. She was with someone else,
All right.
and that was found. You
I'm
have the
looking-
PC, Your Honor? Okay, then I
yes.
won't rehash it.
All right, ma'am, do you have a local address?
Yes,
What is that address?
3700 Harrison Street.
Who lives there?
Boyfriend?
How long have you lived there?
Couple months.
All right, I'm only, Nancy, I'm asking this question only because someone raised this issue yesterday about random drug testing. Because I want Ms. Dollinger to be tested. So, do I put 2 times a week or whatever, 1 time a week or something? Does that make a difference when if I put that in the order? All right. All right, but I can say twice a month or something. All right. Because of the amount of drugs, the nature of the allegations, and what was going on with the other person that Ms. Dollinger was with, I will release her to pretrial supervision, but I am going to say testing once a week. Okay? It's gonna be random testing, but once per week. And so the deputy is going to give you the information for the pretrial office. You need to respond, ma'am. You need to report no later than tomorrow morning. If you don't show up, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Your release is also going to include random drug testing, and as you heard, I've asked them to do that once per week. Okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, that's it.
Thank you.
All right. And next we have Alexander Babkin. All right, so Mr. Babkin was arrested on the 26th. This is a felony petty theft. He has $750 in bonds.
That is correct, Judge. He can't afford it. He's asking to be released on free trial. Now, he lives here locally in Hallandale in the same apartment for about 4 years, and he works here locally in Broward County. He's asking to be released under supervision.
Mr. Babkin's history includes trespass from June of this year 2018, 2 counts of battery on a law enforcement officer, and trespass, 364 days county jail. Trespass last year. Trespass 2018, resisting without violence 2018. Theft 2017, battery on a law enforcement officer, resisting without violence. And theft 2017. Theft 2016, theft 2016. Criminal mischief 2016, assault on a law enforcement officer 2015. Violation of domestic violence injunction and a no contact order 2014. Violation of a domestic violence injunction 2014. DUI property damage 2014.
What is this, a bar? What, do you know?
You know, it says 7-Eleven. I believe it's a wine bottle that was allegedly taken.
Release Mr. Babkin to pretrial supervision. All right. And Mr. Babkin, you need to report by no later than tomorrow morning. If you don't report, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. And also, what establishment is this? Do we know? It just says establishment, so no return to this location, 747 West Hallandale Beach Boulevard in Hallandale Beach.
It's a 7-Eleven.
It's a 7-Eleven. No return to the 7-Eleven.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Good luck, sir.
Tyree Brand,
Mr. Brand is North Broward Judge.
what happened on this one?
I believe Judge Schiff raised the bond to $5,000.
Okay.
I can advise the court. I suspect this is because the system shows that he got picked up October 10th
Yes,
on a felony drug offense that involves possession with intent to sell, distribute.
okay.
He was also picked up on a failure to appear in April of this year, and he's got priors for grand theft auto and burglary.
So he was out on bond from October 10th?
I think it might have been connected to a juvenile matter, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. All right, so he has a $5,000 bond. I'm leaving that in place at this time, okay? Paul Shermax,
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
good afternoon. Mr. Chermak was arrested October 26th, and he has $2,000 total in bonds.
Correct, Judge. Mr. Shermark is 45 years old. He's been living in South Florida for almost 20 years, specifically 17. My understanding, Judge, is he's working 2 jobs. He works at Horizon Energy. He's been there for about 3 years, making about $400 a week. And he got a second job working at KFC, making about $9 an hour. Now, he has 3 kids. He pays child support. He pays $761 a month for child support. He lives in Pembroke Pines with his parents. His parents cannot afford to post his monetary bond. My understanding, I believe his driver's license was initially suspended because of child support. He's rectified that. He is current. And my understanding is he has to pay, I believe, a minimal fee to get his license reinstated again. Having said that, Judge, he does have priors, but he did advise me nothing recent. And he did advise me he believes he has no failure to appear. So he will be coming up, showing up for court. He's not a flight risk, Judge. He's asking the court if you would please release him on pretrial release.
I don't have an
There's
objection.
nothing, I was gonna ask you if there was anything else holding him in custody.
This is it.
It doesn't show, all right.
Yeah, no, I have no objection.
So ROR to pretrial supervision at this time.
System to the judge.
And Mr. Chermak, you need to make sure you report to the pretrial office no later than tomorrow morning. If you don't report, a warrant will be issued for your arrest, and you'll be back here before me, so,
I'll be there, Your Honor.
okay.
The address on this paper?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. All right. Who do you have? Kaylee? I can't see what this is. What's the last? Kaylee, Shannon. North Broward. All right, Miss Shannon was arrested October 26th, and I don't have any information on her. How
Your
much
Honor,
bond does she have?
the bond.
500?
I'm showing unlawful use of false name ID and drug paraphernalia from late July. Grand Theft Auto 2015, possession of cocaine 2012. Uttering a forged instrument 2011 with the VOP, 3-year state prison. Possession of cocaine 09. Resisting without violence, unlawful use of false name ID 09.
All right,
She's not gonna be able to make that bond, Judge.
all right.
If she could, she would've.
I'll release Miss Shannon to pretrial supervision. Ma'am, the deputy, I'm gonna ask you to give Miss Shannon the information for pretrial. You need to report by tomorrow morning. If you don't report, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then Wesley Armstrong. You know, Mr. Armstrong, it looks like he has $2,600 in bond.
Yes, Judge, and Mr. Armstrong, we're gonna be requesting specifically level 2 pretrial. He's 31, he's been here his whole life, right now he's looking for work, he goes to the labor pool whenever he can. He is homeless, however, he has his mother that lives here in Fort Lauderdale, and he believes he can reach out to her, and she would allow him to stay there during the pendency of this case. So based on the totality and what Mr. Lender's gonna say, that's why we're asking for level 2 pretrial on Mr. Armstrong's behalf.
Your Honor, if I could have one moment.
Okay.
Could you check to see what his bonds are? Roll that. Okay. Is it a code? I don't think it's a code of it. It just happens to have the same charge. That's what I thought. Your Honor, Mr. Armstrong got out of state prison March 31st of this year. Let's see, three separate cases. 1 grand theft, 2 counts of uttering a forged instrument, 42 months in Florida State Prison. 2016 burglary of a dwelling and impairing or impeding telephone or electronic wiring or alarm wiring, 42 months state prison as a habitual offender. 2015 felony possession of cannabis, 42 months state prison. 2011 burglary of a dwelling, violation of probation, 30 months state prison.
All right, based on these allegations, I am going to leave the bonds in place. All right, is that it for our afternoon dockets? All right, thank you, everyone, and I will see everyone tomorrow.